Welcome to Super Showdowns, the ultimate destination for epic battles and legendary showdowns. Join us as we put iconic superheroes, villains, and mythological figures against each other in thrilling matches of strength, strategy, and skill. In the quiet of deep space, between the shattered rings of a dying star system, a rift tore reality asunder. The rift shimmered like a wound in the fabric of existence, pulsing with golden light and whispers of a voice that sounded like every scream in the multiverse. Someone was crossing over. From the breach emerged the Sentry, the golden guardian of good, or so he once was. His cape fluttered without wind. His eyes, usually beacons of celestial hope, now glowed with instability. He looked lost, adrift, but undeniably dangerous. This wasn't the noble protector Earth once revered. This was a man fleeing something monstrous, himself. The void, his other half, had not only returned, it was spreading. Every dimension Sentry fled to eventually buckled under the weight of its creeping madness. Planets twisted into screaming horrors. Suns wept black light. Galaxies vanished like soap bubbles in flame. Now he stood at the edge of another universe, trembling, radiating with barely contained chaos. But in this universe, trouble had its own name. Sector 2134, Galactic Dive Bar. The bleeding jaw, Lobo, downed his fourth barrel of Zenthian gut rot, belched flames, and slammed the mug onto the table. Alien heads turned. Some backed away, others didn't, until they caught the look in his eye, that twisted, grinning sneer that said, "I ain't here for friends, frag face." "Another," he barked, snapping the decapitated head of the last bounty he bagged onto the bar. It rolled, blinking. Once before finally accepting its fate, Lobo, the main man, the last Czarnian, the universal definition of excessive force. He had taken bounties on gods, kings, demons, and space whales. He'd fought Superman drunk and won. He once got kicked out of heaven and hell because neither side wanted to deal with him. And now, as fate stitched its iron thread through madness and muscle, a new bounty flashed across the holofeed. Galactic priority alert. Reality level threat. Detected. Target. Codename Sentry. Bounty. 9 trillion credits. Alive or incapacitated. Dead not recommended. Lobo grinned so wide his cigar nearly split in two. 9 trillion. That's almost worth getting out of bed for. He turned to his space bike, the Hog, a snarling beast of a machine forged from the bones of a collapsed neutron star and powered by a black hole engine. As the Hog roared into the void, Lobo lit another cigar and cracked his knuckles. Time to meet the Golden Boy, elsewhere, a planet that shouldn't exist. Sentry stood on the surface of a planet composed entirely of mirrored obsidian, reflecting 1,000 versions of himself. The void whispered in his ear, "They're coming, Robert, they always come, and you always break them." But he's different. He doesn't fear death because he can't die. Sentry gritted his teeth. He didn't want to fight anymore. He didn't want to destroy. But the void kept pushing, and his mind splintered between godhood and fragility.
Hey you, don't just watch. Subscribe please.
Teetered. At the edge. Just then, space tore again. Lobo arrived in a flaming trail of metal and swearing. His bike crashed down with seismic force, carving a canyon through the glassy surface. Lobo stepped off slowly, slapping a glowing suppression cuff against his hand. "All right, pretty boy. I'm supposed to bring you in. We can do this the easy way, the fun way, or the way that makes a new religion out of your spleen." Sentry turned. There was no fear, just a hollow calm. "You shouldn't be here," he said, voice like thunder in morning. "I can't control what's inside me." Lobo popped his neck. "Buddy, I am what's inside me." Tension in the stars, lightning coiled from Sentry's hands as his aura flared like a miniature sun. The surface of the planet melted around him. The air trembled. The void laughed inside him. Lobo barely flinched. He pulled out his hook and chain, ignited with cosmic napalm. You ain't the first glow stick I've fragged. Let's dance, glowboy. Sentry floated upward, pain and guilt etched into his features. If I lose control, there won't be a planet left. Good thing I like open. Space, Lobo smirked, and then launched himself like a missile. Their collision cracked the planet. Waves of force exploded across the system. One punch from Sentry sent Lobo through 5 mountains. Lobo got up laughing. Now that's what I call foreplay. As the stars flickered and 2 titans collided across sky and stone, observers from across. The cosmos tuned in. Green lantern rings blinked in warning. Watchers turned their eyes. Even the new gods paused. A Czarnian who couldn't die versus a man with the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns and the darkness to match it. The battle hadn't truly begun, but the universe already felt the weight of what was coming. The impact of their collision rippled through space like a cosmic scream. Lobo's chain, laced with transdimensional energy, wrapped around Sentry's torso mid-flight, yanking the glowing god from the skies like a falling star. The Czarnian laughed wildly as he slammed Sentry into the obsidian crust, detonating a shockwave that split the planet's surface open like a cracked egg. Chunks of molten glass and black stone lifted into orbit. You feel that, sunshine? Lobo sneered, yanking Sentry up by the hair. That's what it feels like to get fragged by the main man. Sentry's eyes blazed white. He responded with a punch that bent physics. A sunspot condensed into a fist. It hit Lobo square in the chest, launching him into orbit. As he broke through the atmosphere, his bike roared toward him. Lobo landed, hard, bouncing off a meteor, tumbling midair. Then caught the hog in mid-flight and dove back toward the surface. Sentry met him head-on. They fought in a blur of gold and grey, fists cracking open the sound barrier, causing stars to flicker. Lobo hurled his chain, but Sentry dodged with lightning speed, countering with photon blasts that vaporized everything behind the Czarnian. Lobo's jacket was shredded, his skin charred, but the main man kept smiling. You're strong, Sentry muttered, fists trembling. But you don't know what I'm holding back. Then stop holding back, coward, Lobo growled, spitting blood. Let's see what 1,000,000 suns can do to the last fragging Czarnian. Suddenly, everything went cold. Sentry floated still in midair. His body flickered, gold to black. Back to gold again. The void was trying to take control. No, not now. Sentry gasped, clutching his head. Lobo didn't wait. He launched himself with a war cry, firing his bike's front cannons, each blast forged from dwarf star core. They hit Sentry full force, enveloping him in a swirling storm of nuclear fire. Lobo roared triumphantly until something moved through the flames. Sentry burst from the inferno, body glowing so intensely he looked like a second sun. His voice echoed in every direction. I tried to warn you. He slammed into Lobo at the speed of thought, driving him through 3 floating mountains. They crashed through the planet's core, spiraling through molten rock and lava rivers. Sentry punched Lobo again and again, faster than light, each blow shattering sound, space, and sense. But Lobo just wouldn't stay down. His jaw broken. One arm hanging, ribs exposed. He grinned through the blood. You're strong, but I'm Lobo, baby. You can't kill me, not ever. Sentry hovered above him, body trembling, eyes wide with sorrow and rage. The void wanted to end it brutally, but the man inside, the hero, chose something worse than death. He reached into Lobo's chest with a hand of pure energy and did something no one had ever done. He tore Lobo's soul from his regenerating body. Lobo screamed, not from pain, but from fury. No one had ever gotten past his healing factor like this. He felt everything slow, time warping. His limbs spasmed, his brain firing in 1,000 dead languages. Sentry clenched the soul in his fist. You can't die, Sentry said, voice cracking. But I can unmake you, just long enough to end this. With a scream that split stars, Sentry hurled the soul across the multiverse, through a portal forged by his own power, a limbo zone, a null verse, a place where time doesn't flow and existence forgets itself. Lobo's body went limp. Sentry stood alone on the shattered remnants of the planet. He fell to one knee, trembling. The energy storm around him faded. The void, temporarily sated, retreated into the depths of his mind. For now, all that remained of Lobo was his broken chain, still sparking. "I didn't want this," Sentry whispered, "but sometimes even the unstoppable have to stop." Far away in the limbo realm beyond realms, something stirred. A distant voice laughed. "You think this is over, Goldilocks? I'll be back, and next time, I'll bring hell with me."